Hi, I'm Deb.
And I'm Karen, and we're here answering all your real estate related questions with the same thoughtful advice that we would give our best friends. Deb, what is today's question?
Today's question is, how do I get pre-qualified? Hey, everybody. So I know this is a little different than this is the first time we've been in the same room, not because of COVID or body odor or anything like that, but just because we happen to be in the same location. And we're like, hey, let's do this. Let's do this. So if it seems a little awkward, it's because it is, because we're like, where do we
We're
live?
like sitting so close together. Yeah.
And also, I don't know whether I should look at her, but then you're
No.
seeing my profile, which is not that great.
We're going to look head on.
Yeah. So we're going to look head on and be awkward. Today's topic, how do I get pre-qualified? I have a buyer right now who came to me first, which is great. I love when people come to me first and they say, what comes first, the chicken or the egg, the realtor or the lender? I'm like, come to me, because then I'm going to send you, I think I probably said this in other videos before, I'm going to send you to the best lenders that are out there. But I had a buyer come to me and she'd already been looking at homes and she had a couple she wanted to see, but she had another house. And so we had to figure that out. And it's just a little tricky. And so she's now lost a couple of houses, not been able to make an offer because she's not gotten pre-qualified first. So it's not the fun stuff. It is the unsexy stuff, the pre-qualification. But we're going to talk about that today because it is super important. So I'm going to pummel Karen with questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay. What is a pre-qualification?
That is when you get with a lender, they pull your credit. They are going to review what they can to make sure that you are qualified for the amount that you are interested in.
Perfect.
Easy.
And we kind of talk about why it's important from my perspective, why it's important, because you're not gonna be able to write an offer in today's market. A seller's not even going to look at your offer without that pre-qualification letter. Do you have any, you don't care, do you?
Not on that end, but not on that end. But no, I think sometimes if they're not pre-qualified, but let's say their offer does get accepted, now they're scrambling. And what if the lender that they're wanting isn't available or something like that? So that's why doing it beforehand is a lot smoother.
And also there is a very small chance, but it is a legit chance that we have seen that there are errors on your credit report. And sometimes it can take a little while to get those addressed.
Yeah. So I always tell people to be proactive versus reactive. Right. So to have it done before you start actually house shopping.
So I'm looking at my list of questions here. So how long is a pre-qualification good for? Because that's something that people are like, well, when should I get pre-qualified? And how long is it good for?
Our pre-approval letters will state on the letter that it's good for 60 days, but I do tell people that it's actually good for 120 days. Our credit report is good for that long of a time. And what I typically would do, I just want to throw that in there, is that if we're going past that 60-day mark, I will ask for updated pay stubs just to kind of make sure that we're still good on that.
Okay. And how far ahead of buying a home? Like say I'm like, okay, I want to buy a house this summer. When do you think people should get pre-qualified? Then I'll tell you my answer.
Yeah. I think at least within that 3 to 4 month window. It doesn't hurt, but it also, like you'd already mentioned, that it allows us to see if there is something on the credit. It gives us a little bit more time to help them work through that. Either resolve something that they didn't know about, pay off something, improve credit scores, all of that. It gives us more time.
Yeah. I say the earlier, the better. Just because you never know if you come back and you're not qualifying for what you thought you could qualify for and you're up against the end of a lease or something like that. Like the sooner, I even think a year ahead of time, there's no harm in that. Which brings us to the next question, which is, can you pre-qualify me without pulling my credit score? Because I don't want that hard inquiry to impact my credit score.
No. Next question. Because everything, unfortunately, unless you are Dave Ramsey, I know that he's always talking about minimizing, what you pull for or extending credit. But it is a world where we do have to use your credit scores, to pull. So
everything, your payment, your interest rate, your mortgage insurance, PMI, all of that is dependent on
and a lot of the loan programs. Even if you think, my credit's good, if it's limited, there's certain loan programs that require you to have a certain number of trade lines, for a certain length of time, like USDA. So it's definitely good to have your lender check that out.
Okay. Do I have to take a day off of work to get pre-qualified? I know that sounds silly, but I actually always say that to people. So what's your just sort of general process for pre-qualifying someone?
It is super quick. I mean, in theory, right? So, you don't need to take a day off of work or, come in on your lunch hour. But if you do want to do it in person, I would say plan to be there for about an hour. Your lender is going to be really thorough and make sure that they get, all their questions answered. But if you do it online, it usually, like, we get back to people, I try to get back with them within a couple of hours, and get that information to them so that they can start their home search.
So a lot of times, if you have a very clean situation where you're a W-2 employee, you're not self-employed, or you're not, getting gift funds or things like that, it can happen within the course of a few hours, really, especially with all the great online tools. I know Ruoff has super, super easy. You can take photos of documents with your phone and just upload them. It's so easy. So speaking of documents, what documents do people need to start assembling before they talk to a lender?
I always give a real generic one if I haven't seen anything just yet, or I haven't had a conversation with them. So I will ask them to come prepared with 2 years of their tax returns, 2 years W-2s, 1099s, 2 months bank statements, 30 days of pay stub, photo ID. We may not need any of that. And if we don't, then I don't make copies of any of that, but it's just easier if they're wanting to do certain loan programs that require the tax returns or require whatever, just having it all together or having it prepared to upload, and then we can see if we need it or not.
So a lot of our viewers are probably first-time home buyers, and they've never gotten a mortgage before, and they've probably never talked with a mortgage professional before. So I always like to ask this question. I always coach my clients, like, what exactly do I say? Because you're like, okay, I have a phone number, I have an email address, so I know I need to contact that person, but I don't really know what I'm supposed to say. And sometimes you get people and they kind of give you their whole life story, which is great. That's super useful, not necessary. So what do you want people to say ideally?
I usually get emails that just say, I don't know what I need to be doing, but I know I need to get with you. Perfect. I mean, seriously, their realtors have sent them my way. And sometimes they'll say, hey, so-and-so sent me your address. Where do I start?
Yeah, that's what I take it from there. I tell people, I'm like, all you need to do is contact the lender, say, Deb Tomorrow's my realtor, and she said I need to get a hold of you to get pre-qualified. Period. End of story. You don't need to know what questions, you don't need to proactively answer any questions. The lender knows exactly what information they need from you, and so they will lead the way. Okay, I think that's all my questions with pre-qualified. It's painless. It really is. It really is. So please do it. The unfun stuff first, and then we'll go look at houses, okay?
Absolutely. You trust your best friends to give you good advice.
So consider us your best friends in real estate. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.